Good evening and welcome to this edition of Newsleader on 6. Today is Tuesday, August the 8th, 2017. I'm Jim Fuller.
And I'm Andrew Todd. In tonight's news, Arnold Center Public Affairs Office says vehicle collisions with deer have been declining over the past 30 years. We'll talk with a Tullahoma artist about his recent donation to the Hands-On Science Center. There have been some changes to the state's Move Over law, and State Representative Jeb Matheny will tell us how the new Improve Act will benefit our local communities. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's Newsleader on 6.
Keith Barnett here with the Russell Barnett Automotive family. Over 75% of car shoppers today use the internet to search for their new or pre-owned vehicle. That's why the russellbarnett.com website is so versatile, where you can check it anytime, all the time, online. You can search through our new and pre-owned inventory by make, model, mileage, or price. We can value your trade-in and get you pre-approved for financing before you even walk in the door. So check out russellbarnett.com, and remember, why buy anywhere else?
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety estimates that 1.3 million deer vehicle collisions occur each year in the United States, resulting in approximately $1 billion in vehicle damage, and nationwide there are an average of around 200 fatalities. John Lamb and Stephen Farrington from Arnold Center's Public Affairs Office say while the annual rate of deer vehicle collisions at the base is highly variable, there has been a declining trend over the past 30 years. They also say at Arnold you should always assume you're driving through deer habitat, but based on the locations of deer vehicle accidents since 2002, there do appear to be areas where they are more concentrated and pose a higher risk.
If you see a deer along the roadway, you should expect there'll be others. Be attentive from sunset to midnight and shortly before and after sunrise, as these are the highest risk periods for DVCs. Brake firmly when you notice a deer in or near your path, but stay in your lane. Many serious crashes occur when drivers swerve to avoid a deer and hit another vehicle or lose control of their cars. If you should hit a deer, don't attempt to remove it from the roadway unless you are sure that it is dead. A deer can inflict serious injuries. Contact law enforcement to report the incident. At Arnold, be sure to report it to Arnold Protective Services so that they can continue to track and evaluate the problem. Tennessee law allows deer killed in a collision to be taken and used as food as long as you contact the nearest TWRA regional office to report the accident within 48 hours.
Channel 6's John Gray spoke with local artist Stephen Smith about his fascination with Easter Island and his recent donation to Tullahoma's Hands-On Science Center.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm at the Hands-On Science Center with Moai man Steve Smith, and he's standing over here by this moai that he created and has brought to the Science Center, and it's incredible. Steve, why in the world did you do this?
I just one day I just felt like doing it. I've always been interested in Easter Island and you know, the statues and how they were done, and it's still kind of a mystery of how they made them and how they moved them, but I just wanted to donate something to the Science Center.
Well, and you know, you're talking about that, you know, this is a science center, and even with the technology we have today, they can't figure out how this was done on Easter Island.
Right, they're still investigating it and trying to find out theories, different ways of how they moved them and how they carved them, but it's still kind of they're still working on trying to figure out how they did it.
Well, how did you create this? What's the structure of it?
It's just fine wire mesh, and I filled it full of foam, and then this is stucco like they put on buildings now with sealer. So it's pretty easy to do. It's not very hard.
Well, no, that's a piece of art right there, man. Not everybody can do that. And what we're looking at doing now is possibly building a wall out front of the Science Center and building sort of a recreating part of Easter Island and have several of these out facing the highway, inviting people into Tullahoma.
Yes, I think it would be a good attraction for Tullahoma, and probably the average size would be about 15 to 18 feet tall.
And this one here is what, about 6 feet?
It's about 6.5 feet.
6.5 feet tall. So these kids are going to love coming to the Science Center and seeing that gentleman right there looking at them as they walk in the door.
Yeah, it was a fun project too.
Steve, thank you so much for your talent and your gifts to Tullahoma.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Newsleader on 6.
Dr. Credit here from Russell Barnett Kia. Are you needing a vehicle but don't think it's possible because of your current credit situation? Great news, it is possible. But don't just take it from me. Here's a few of our satisfied customers and what they had to say.
Not only did they take the time to get to know me and my wants, they found me someone to finance me with my bad credit and got me the car of my dreams.
Dr. Credit, come see him, he's great. He can help you. I know he can. He helped me.
Schedule your appointment with Dr. Credit at Russell Barnett Kia so you can drive away happy.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Welcome back. Tom Corrington spoke with State Representative Judd Matheny about the IMPROVE Act passed by the legislature this year and how it will impact our local area.
Folks, we're talking today with Representative Judd Matheny. We've been catching up on the legislative session that just finished, and we touched on the IMPROVE Act, but I think Judd has a couple more items he'd like to.
Sure, I wanted to let people know really how the IMPROVE Act, or the gas tax, whatever you would like to call it, actually went down. Of course, the governor proposed the IMPROVE Act in 1st of February of this year, which created an increase in the diesel tax and gasoline tax, put a $5 increase on everybody's vehicle registration, and among other things, and did a $100 registration fee per year for electric vehicles. And this was used to to restart our transportation infrastructure budget in Tennessee, which was really gutted in the last decade through TennCare overspending. And that really, the federal government forced us to do that through a whole lot of lawsuits and consent decrees that were entered into years ago. So it really busted our budget. So the IMPROVE Act was meant to get us from being really a maintenance-only state back to a highway construction state. Folks do need to realize we had serious budget surpluses this year in the neighborhood of $2 billion. About half of that recurring, which means we'll see it every year, and everything tends to say that we're going to see these same surpluses next year. Another part of our surplus was about $1 billion was one-time money. Most of that through franchise and excise taxes that corporations pay. Our geographic location is phenomenal. We have we have about a dozen interstates that touch or intersect Tennessee in some way, and they're equally distributed Middle East and West. We're just a great state to manufacture in, to transport from, and to warehouse and ship from. So all these things help to create these surpluses we have. Of course, there's no doubt we have a deficit and we have a backlog in transportation programs in Tennessee that need to be built.
The whole country.
And the whole infrastructure in the whole country, and not just transportation, but electric and plumbing and a whole host of other things. So what we're down to the last man and woman in the General Assembly, the House and the Senate both, 132 of us, nobody disagreed with the need to fully fund a transportation initiative. What we did have some disagreements on is how are we going to do that? Do we want to do that with a new tax, or do we want to do it with some of our recurring existing revenues? Instead of grow the rate of government so fast, let's slow the growth rate of government, keep it closer to how our personal income would grow every year, and let's plow some of our surpluses back into the state transportation infrastructure. And we were unsuccessful in that argument, and the IMPROVE Act passed, and now we have to implement it the best we can, and that's what our job will be. Coffee County will look at about $43 million over the next decade in new money coming into it for road projects that really are in some phase of completion or putting together at this point in time. We've got probably 30 road projects in Tennessee that are in some stage of development, right-of-way acquisition, environmental, it could be in engineering, and we just haven't had the money to actually get out and truly start them. So there'll be this new money coming in. In addition, there'll be about $10 million coming to local governments. That $43 million I mentioned is state money that will come in for state projects. There'll be about an additional $10 million that will be split up between Manchester and Coffee County and Tullahoma City over the next 10 years that will go to pave local roads and other issues. And then we had one of the bills I passed this year put about $590,000 in one-time money into Coffee County just this year for local road projects. And on top of that, the governor's budget had about another $500,000 in one time. So there's pretty good shot in the arm coming just for this year. And I think Benton Bartlett, our road superintendent, who's doing a great job, he and I have kept in touch regularly. And he's doing a great job budgeting with what he has, and he's enthusiastic that he's going to be able to get out and do some projects that have been needed to be done for a long time, and so we're glad to be able to do that.
And stay tuned in, because they haven't yet told us what projects this is going to be.
No, so, but I can get you that list. The
list
is actually out there, Tom, and I mean, it's a lot of them are small projects, but we have things that are very acute to us in Tullahoma, like the widening of Cedar Lane and some other issues that have to be paid for. And then Manchester has a large bypass issue they're working on. We're trying to get a 4-lane extended in Manchester. We've got to get our 4-lane built all the way to Shelbyville on Highway 41, so there's a lot of issues close by, and there's turning lanes,
that's a slow process.
There's turning lanes, and there's traffic lights, and there's guardrails, and there's sidewalks, and there's a whole host of other things that are involved.
We'll be right back after these messages.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. It's a Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's got to be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor too when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
Welcome back. Tullahoma Police Chief Paul Blackwell stopped by our studios to bring us up to date on the new Tennessee move-over law.
One of the things that we as law enforcement often have to deal with is the move-over law. And that has just recently changed July 1st. Prior to July 1st, any emergency vehicle that was pulled off on the side, stopping a vehicle or rendering assistance, drivers had to give them the right-of-way. If you were on a 2-lane road, meaning 1 lane each way, you've got to slow down until you can safely get past them. If you're on a 4-lane road, meaning 2 lanes going in each direction, you're supposed to move to the next lane until you're safely past them. That law changed July 1. It's not just emergency vehicles anymore, it's any vehicle. So any vehicle that's on the side of the road that has their flashers on, you have to give them due care.
You're right.
So you either have to pull into the next lane, if there's a lane available, until you're safely past them, or if it's only 1 lane, you have to slow and safely pass them.
So it doesn't just apply to
emergency vehicles or recovery vehicles, wreckers. Now it's any car, and I think that's good. Because we've seen a lot of instances where somebody's been out changing a tire or something else and getting hit by somebody. So that's going to, I think, make everybody aware now that, hey, if you see someone on the side of the road with the flashers, you got to move over. Or you've got to slow down till you're safely beyond them. I was reading something earlier, and I saw where 2 TDOT employees were hit yesterday that were out working on the side of the road, and they got hit. Don't think it killed them. Don't think they were fatal, but any injury you sustain when a car hits you
it's probably going to be pretty serious.
Pretty serious. So, and then I was mentioning that a highway patrolman out in Oklahoma last week was hit, and he passed away, I believe, yesterday. So there's still a lot of people that apparently aren't paying attention to it. We in Tullahoma, the police, have had, and I use that word had, to start having, whenever one of our officers stops somebody for a traffic stop, we have to have another officer go there to watch for people to make sure they're moving over. Because we're getting officers that are calling other officers, hey, can you come watch my back for me, because the cars are not moving over. And
that's a shame, because that is so dangerous.
Yeah. And we want to warn people and just say, look, move over, but this has been out long enough. People know this, and we are almost to the point of we're having to sanction people. I mean, give them tickets.
Right.
We don't always like doing it, but when you put an officer's safety in jeopardy, it's a little bit easier to write that ticket.
Sure, absolutely.
So we ask everybody just to watch everybody. We had that unfortunate incident last year in Rutherford County where, like, the 16-year-old was changing his mother's tire.
Right.
And got hit, killed him. There's so many things that can happen. People walking around their cars, doing something that you cannot fly past these cars parked on the side of the road.
I thought of you just yesterday. Is why I was going to ask you about that, because I was coming down North Washington Street. There were two kids on a bicycle off the lane, outside the lane on the shoulder, and I'm thinking, okay, they changed the move over law. Now, what am I supposed to do? I'm on a 2-lane road. Do I just stop until?
If it's 2-lane, meaning 1 lane in each direction, you slow and pass them very cautiously.
Right.
And then you can resume your speed once you've passed them.
Yeah, but I would thinking, or at least that's what I was thinking, kids on a bicycle could inadvertently swerve back into the lane in a second.
There's the old saying of when you have emergency vehicle operations, when we go through driving courses, that all it takes is just a small jerk of the wheel to displace the car, to make a car move.
Sure.
And generally, when you see somebody operating a bicycle or a car, when they turn their head, their body wants to their hands want to turn with their head movement.
Right.
So you're exactly right. Any person riding a bicycle, if they look to their left, there's a good chance, just what you said, they're going to divert their path.
Right.
And then next thing you know, you're hitting them.
More Newsleader on 6 is coming up in a moment.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's going to be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor too when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
Welcome back. John Gray spoke recently with Dr. Jesse Campbell and Joni McReynolds about the upcoming TSU reunion.
One of those people, there's people that you run across in this life that you can't do anything but look up at them, not at them, but to them, and respect them because they deserve that, and that's my neighbor, Dr. Jesse Campbell. Welcome, dear.
Glad to be here.
It's always
Glad
a pleasure to have you here, and you are here. Introduce your guest.
This is Joni McReynolds, the National President of Tennessee State University Alumni Association. That's correct. All the universities.
All the United States.
Yes, all over the United States. And we are here to talk about our jazz concert on August the 18th, 8 p.m., right here in this building, the Legend Ballroom. Tickets are $25, and this activity is set up for a scholarship to be given by our chapter, by South Central Chapter. For about 5 years, we have had a dinner in Manchester for the Christmas holidays to give a book award. But the young people in this area deserve more. We need to give them an actual scholarship, presented in the spring, ready to go in the fall. So we're here to advertise that activity. Absolutely.
Advertise that.
And our president will be able to give you more information about TSU's scholarship program with our foundation and all of that.
Well, why don't we do that, Johnny? Why don't we do that before we get into the music and the event? Tell us a little bit about yourself. You reside in Manchester?
I live in Manchester now. Before that, I lived in Northern Virginia. I retired from the federal government. And my mom lived in...
You don't look old enough to be retired. You must have taken early retirement.
No, I did not. No, I did not. I was able to work 20 years and 5 of it overseas. And at the age of 50, I was able to retire. I'm fully retired now.
Fully vested.
Fully
Good
vested.
for you. And
so I moved back to my mom's home is originally in Manchester.
Oh, good.
So I moved a little closer to her. So I actually built a house right across the street from my mother.
That's close. That's pretty close.
I can't get any closer.
Unless you move in.
So that's what brought me to Manchester, and as was mentioned earlier, I am the president of the National Alumni Association, and we have over 51 chapters across the country, from Washington, D.C. to Miami, Florida to Los Angeles, California.
How many people are there in the Alumni Association? Just general. I mean, not down to the one, but approximately.
There are over 66,000 graduates of Tennessee State University. However, there's about 2,500 financial alums of the Alumni Association.
Okay.
So that's one thing that we're trying to increase. We're trying to increase our members, and we're also trying to increase the donors, the number of donors that give back to TSU.
Let's talk a little bit more about the event. The Hamilton brothers.
Yes.
Are going to be right across the hall from us in Legends Hall. This is going to be the 18th, you said?
August 18th. 8 p.m.
Friday evening.
8 p.m. And if you don't know who that is, we had them on South Jackson. Walter Hamilton, I played with Walter. My brother played with him, maybe junior. And was an incredible musician. His family, they're all incredible musicians. This will be a night you do not want to miss. How does someone find tickets?
You can find tickets from Joan and myself and Jackie Duncan by calling names. If you watch this station, you will see a flyer. My number is 455-0287. Jackie's number is 455-2199. And Joni's number is?
Area code 703-408-5851. But it's also on Eventbrite. So if you want to go to Eventbrite, search for Tullahoma on that August 18th. You'll be able to find tickets on Eventbrite.
Or you can get in touch with me at 581-5238. And of course, my numbers and email are on all over the television. You want to find out, give me a call or email me, and we will make sure you get the information that you need.
And we would like to have all tickets picked up by August 14th. However, if you can't get it done by then, we would like to have it daytime August 18th.
But they can buy them at the door.
They can, but we would like to have their tables set up. We can sell tables of 8 people. If you want to come with friends, just let us know and we'll have your table ready.
All right. Doctor, friend, and mentor.
And neighbor.
And neighbor. And neighbor. Very nice to meet you, dear, and thank you for what you're doing and the service you're giving the folks that you represent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great event, folks. Y'all come.
And don't forget to tune into this week's Living Show tonight at 6:30 p.m., Thursday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings at 6:30 p.m. This week's guests include Tracy Harden of Bel Air School, who will tell us about their upcoming walkathon. The Coffee County Airfoilers are having a huge fly-in this weekend in Tullahoma, and Tullahoma head football coach John Olive will come by and discuss this year's football season. All that and more on this week's Living.
And stay with us. We'll have your weather forecast right after these messages.
The Russell Barnett Automotive family has launched its new Owner Advantage program. It starts as simple as your first year's maintenance is included with the purchase. We have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plans available. Car detailing, car rental, collision repair. Stop by one of our 5 locations and let one of our certified sales staff tell you all about it. The Russell Barnett Automotive Family Advantage program. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
The highest standard of excellence requires dedication and commitment. It's established over time. You know when you see it. You know when you feel it. There's a standard of excellence in healthcare. It's the Joint Commission Gold Seal of Approval. In 2003, Life Care Center of Tullahoma voluntarily achieved this accreditation and maintains it still today. Life Care, meeting a higher standard because residents matter most.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1930 at 102 degrees. The record low was in 1989 at 50 degrees. The average high on this day is 88 and the average low is 66. Partly cloudy weather expected tonight with a low of around 64. A 30% chance of storms in your forecast for Wednesday with a high of 82 and a low of 67. That storm chance moves up to 50% chance on Thursday with a high of 81 and a low of 68. That's our newsletter report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for Newsleader on 6. You have a good evening.
Have a great evening.